So guys, we'll go ahead and get started here, and those joining can join as we get started. But what we'll be running through today is reference data management in Dataedo. So we're going to be covering quite a variety of topics, both about reference data management in general, and also about how it applies to Dataedo and what you guys are doing now. So to kick things off, we'll run through an agenda of what we'll be talking about. So number one is we'll start with what reference data is in general, and then we'll go into more of what's the challenge behind that, and why is that there, and why is it important. And then Piotr will walk us through reference data in Dataedo, so how it applies to what many of you who are customers are actually using now. And then Piotr will also walk us through how he fixed his conversion report using this process. We'll also cover some high-level benefits of it. Then we will go through what you need to take advantage of reference data with Dataedo. And then we'll do a Q&A at the end. So if you want to ask questions throughout, feel free to throw those in the questions tab. We'll just address them at the end, but you can ask them as we roll through here. Piotr, from here, I believe I hand it over to you to get it started.
All right, thank you. Okay, so let's get started on a little theory. So what is reference data? I'm quite sure a lot of you don't know what it is, but I'm 100% sure you've seen it and you've used a lot of reference data in your everyday experiences. So let's start with the definition. Reference data is data used to classify or categorize other data. Okay, I know you haven't learned anything from that. That isn't really helpful. So let's look at some other names you might have heard reference data as. So they are sometimes called codes, lookups, lists of values, enums, or even data domains. Let's look at the examples. So reference data is are all those dropdowns and all those radio buttons that you fill out in in various forms. In, I don't know, booking a flight, entering data into CRM, and so on. Every organization has a ton of reference data. Examples: countries, accounts, currencies, units of measure, departments. All those different types of documents, types of customers, and so on. Statuses as well, right? So status of your order, invoice, customer, and also calendars, so quarters, months, and so on. So there's a good chance that when you see a drop down, it is a reference data. Let's have a look at the example when you're booking a travel. Where do you see it? So destination, country, city, and airport are all reference data. When you choose one way or round trip, that's another piece of reference data. Airline, such as American Airlines, Hansa, or car rental, can also be considered reference data. When you provide the title for the person or number of passengers, or you choose accommodation type, facilities, car type, whatever. So all those labels, categories, codes, whatever you can call it, this can be considered reference data. There's a classification of data used by organization into three distinct categories. You might have heard master data. So the three categories are transactional data, master data, and reference data. You can also identify metadata, which describes the three categories. So what is transactional data? Transactional data is all that that's happening in the business every day. Orders, quotes, trials, logs, complaints. Everything. All the things that happen that have a usually they have some date timestamp related to that, and that's fastly changing. A lot of roles being created every day, even millions. The master data is this are those key entities that define every organization, and every organization actually has almost the same set of master data entities, and these are usually employees, customers, that could be students or patients, whatever, but customers, and products. It's not listed here, but also suppliers. So these are like the typical master data elements, and it's important to manage it so that all the systems, all the places where this data is being used are actually in line with each other, so that systems can systems or departments can exchange information. This data is not as fast. It's it's slowly changing, so you don't hire a lot of employees every day. It in terms of numbers, this is hundreds, thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands, but it's not as these tables are not as big as transactional data. And there's reference data. So those are just the labels, and there are way more reference data tables or columns in every organization, but they are way smaller. They're very static, so they're very slowly changing, and usually very, very like small. So a couple of values, maybe a couple hundred values, and there's a lot of those elements. And sometimes it's considered reference data is considered subset of master data. Data Management Association identified reference and master data as one of the data management disciplines. As you can see, they put it on the so-called DAMA wheel, and this it bundles both reference and master data together as a separate discipline. Okay, so why is it important? Let's have a look at this. If you're working with data, you probably have it sounds familiar. You're checking a column in one of the tables you're working with. You'd like to write a query, create a report, or whatever, and then you see that this column has the following values, and you have no clue what they represent. And not being able to identify what they represent is, can be very harmful, because let's say D is for deleted, and you should exclude all the rows with flagged with D. So without this knowledge, you have no idea what the data actually is, and it can apply to data in all of the columns, not just this column, because if, as I said, this implies status and D should be excluded, then if you count some of your orders, then the numbers are completely off. So understanding reference data is crucial to understand data in general. So that's one challenge. And another, I'll show you an example, a real-time example. I did a report, and you can see these were the results, and I was a little confused, unhappy. I was trying to pull together two data sets. One was leads, so all the contacts that contacted our organization, and then customers, so everyone who purchased Dataedo. So, and I wanted to see, what's the overall conversion of the, and broken down by country. So I wanted to see how different, locations convert. So as you can see, USA apparently has no customers, which is, not true, because US is our biggest market. And so yeah, there you go. The report is broken. The reason for that is because in the leads table, we use USA for United States, and in customers table or data set uses United States. So there's no match, right? Another thing you can notice is there's UK twice. Some of the rows got UK as a UK, and the rest got flagged as United Kingdom. So there you go. I have data, and I cannot get value from that, right? So I cannot get insights. I cannot actually get information, right? So I have data, but I have no information. So I'll show you how a simple documentation and a very simple trick in data warehouse could help me fix it with Dataedo. Not necessarily, but in general, how managing your reference data can help you improve data quality and analytics. Okay, so let's jump into Dataedo. So right now we're looking at Dataedo, and Dataedo is, for those of you who don't know, it's a data catalog, and over here we see the databases I've imported from into the data catalog. it catalogs tables, columns. You can describe all the columns, profile data, and so on. So that's the core functionality. And what we have added right now is a completely new metadata element, and that's it's located under lookups. So every database has a lookups folder, and it has lists lookups. So lookups are not physical objects in the database. I've created them manually, and they are they're just another element of your documentation. They can be stored in any database. They don't have to be a physical database. You can create like a manual database and just store your reference data there, all the lookups. So lookup is this main entity that represents reference data. So one lookup, let's check country. One lookup has a list of values. Right? So as tables have columns, the lookups have values. So every row over here represents one unique distinct value in your lookup. A lookup is a logical object. It doesn't have to be related with any particular table or column, although it can. So the point is a logical documentation of those lists of values, and each value can have its alternative title. So for instance, in the currency, you can see that being helpful, right? We have decoded those ISO codes for currencies into more meaningful names. You can provide the description and some alternative custom fields, just like for any other object in the Dataedo. Okay, how to create a lookup? You simply click add lookup. Over here we provide the name. So I don't know. Do I have a customer type? Yeah. So let's call it account type. I don't know. And we can simply add values just like that. So let's say, I don't know, opening, closing, and I don't know, open, for instance. These values are meaningful in specific context, so it's up to you what those values are. And I can provide title, description, and so on. I can save it, and then my new lookup is created. That's how it's born. It's quite fairly easy process. One other thing I'd like to mention is that when you edit, you have an option to bulk import values. So let's say you have your definitions in an Excel spreadsheet right now, or some table, something like that. You can paste it over here. Copy template just helps you copy those headers, so you can copy it to the Excel, then paste in the right. So you paste it into the right fields, right columns, and then paste it. Add those values, get added, and that's how you can migrate your Excel spreadsheets. Okay. However, yeah, so that's the manual process, but the real power lies where you can create lookups from the actual data. So let me find one of the views I prepared, and that would be this one. And I would like to create a lookup for industry field. This is a industry of the business we are working with or planning to work with. So you can simply click on any column in any physical database. So you have a connection, so actual connection to a database. We have connectors most connectors support that, all the relational databases. So when you click, you can choose create new lookup for industry. And right now I have to provide the name. So let's call it industry. And when I check this checkbox, it will connect to the database. If I don't have connection, connection details are not saved, then it won't happen. Then you'll be asked for login and password. If you don't know it, then someone who has access to the database has to do it. When I click create, it connects to the database, runs the query, and finds distinct values of this field, right? So it basically runs select distinct from. It shows me a sample values and tells me how many more there are. So there's around 200 values. So when I create, what I should get is a lookup called industry. And it doesn't have values on the values tab, but it has a lot of values in the for review tab. So Dataedo helps you curate this information and loads it into a separate, like a staging area where you actually have to review all this information. As you can see, this is far from what you would like to be in any case, almost. So we have like data government domain, government administration, and wellness and fitness, as well as with this and symbol. So there's a lot of dirty data. And over here you can see how popular those values are, right? So you can see this column presents how many rows had that particular value. It's really useful. So for me right now, as a data steward, I have to go through the list, and I have two choices. I can either approve the value. So let's say this is correct one, this is correct one. Yeah, let's say this is correct one. And yeah, as I said, this one isn't. So let's reject it. But the government is, so let's find the government. So let's say this one is, but the government agency and administration, let's say I don't want administration, so I reject it. So if we move to the values tab, you can see that these values are added. It's not saved yet. It's auto-save. If I go out of this lookup, it will be saved, but I can save it now. So right now, when I saved it, I have 5 values in my lookup, and this information now is available in. This is part of the lookup, part of the definition of the lookup, and it's visible when I go to the table. Where was it? Yeah, if I go here. So if I go to the data dictionary, over here, I can see the lookup and its values, right? So I can some first 3 values. And also, if I go to web, the web, I can already see it in the web. So everything that got into the values tab is visible over here. You can see the industry lookup. If I go to the lookup itself, I will see those 5 values. And whatever I provide in the title and description fields. Let's get back to the desktop. So I've created a lookup. Where was it? Oh, here. Right. So I already have, my first success. I created lookup and some values. Let's look at the rejected values tab. You can see these 2 values that I've rejected, and I consider them incorrect. What I can do now, I can provide a mapping to the correct value. So first, it's an information which values are correct, then which values are incorrect, and thirdly, I can provide the mapping to the correct value. So let's choose government. And right now, the information, I have a information about the data. I have a data quality rules, and I have a data cleansing rules as well. So right now I have to repeat the process and browse through the rest of those values. And over here, I shown you already. You can see the column it's linked to, but that's not all. You can also link more than one column into this lookup. So let's click this button over here and search for other columns named industry. As you can see, there's quite a lot of them. So let's choose some of them. Right, let's check this one. Okay, this one, and maybe this one. I like to fetch those values as well. So I check this button. If I forget, I can do it later, but let's do it right now. And it's scanning all the values, all the columns I've selected. Right. You can see they all have different sets of values. You can even see that. Let's get all of that. Okay, and you can see there's a lot more columns linked to this lookup, and you can even see how many values were fetched. So if we go now for review tab, you can see that there's way more values, right? So I have a little more work now. But you can also see how popular are specific values in specific columns. Yeah, you can see the names of those tables and columns over here. So this gives you an idea of your data quality, and if we use automotive, then okay, this is popular across most of those columns, but in CRM customers we use this value, right? So that's like analysis of the data quality in my database. If I'd like to add more columns, I repeat the process. I can also after there's some time can pass, and I would like to refresh that information. So I just click this button over here, and I select which columns I'd like to refresh. So it will repeat the process. It will reload those counts, and it will add new values. If there are new values, then it will be imported. This is the process of building a lookup. I've shown you the way how to do it manually. I've shown you the way how to do it automatically, and how to review values, and how to do cleansing. So that and yeah, I also shown you how to share it in the web. They are visible automatically whenever you create a lookup and add values. They are visible in the web. Let's get to the presentation. I will show you how I use this logic, this functionality to fix my report. So just to remind, I had two sets that have used different labels for the same value, USA, and then one of the values was using one of the so leads in this case. We were using two distinct values for the same entity. So what I did, I incorporated lookups values table. So I connected to the repository. So I imported the table I just shown you and incorporated it into my ETL. So when I was loading the data warehouse customers and data warehouse leads tables, I did a little trick and used the value and map2 column to create a cleansed column. It looks like this. So I have a country column. So I loaded leads, and this column codes what exactly information from the CRM. But I also created the cleansed column, which cleanse those values according to the lookup I have defined. So what happened? What was the end result? I have a beautiful report with very seamless and simple process. So I can see that it's United States over here. We have that many leads, and we were able to match customers and calculate conversion. Same for United Kingdom. We merged those two values into the right value, and we also managed to fix the conversion. So it's I didn't have to cleanse all the information, and I had a very the source information. Maybe I'm not the owner of CRM. Maybe it's too risky to up the information over there. I just added another layer in my data warehouse. Very simple. And I have a very natural place of defining those rules. Analyzing the quality, providing the cleansing rules, and did it in a couple of hours, and I didn't have to involve anyone else in the process. I can even show you this table in desktop. So the countries table, you can see here. These are the countries I've approved so far. There are still to do, and then my cleansing rules. So whatever doesn't fit into the right values I'd like to use, I mapped it to the correct one. So United States over here, I mapped USA to United States, and United Kingdom is also here, right? So yeah, very, very simple. And yeah, I have cleansed the data. All right, let's talk about the benefits. So some of them you've seen, but let's have an overview of what a proper reference data management gives you. So firstly, you can decode all those codes, all those digits or letters that exist in your databases, such as flags, such as status column, and so on. You have one reference place to share this information across all the teams. So it's clear once and for all. Someone creates an developer creates or architect creates a table with a column. They have a place to document it so that anyone using this table in the future doesn't have to guess. If someone wants to write in this table, they also know what values are expected, what values are allowed. Yeah, knowing the allowed values. So not all the values exist, not all the values that are possible exist in the column. So imagine there was a pending status. I've written some logic and some report without this status because there are very few objects that are pending at any particular time. So at the time you created it, there was none, and then there's a new document in a pending status, and your system breaks, your reports breaks, your integration breaks or something. So whenever you define what are the values that are allowed in this column, you can document it. Once and for all, you have one reference place, so everyone can check this over there. You can have one definition for multiple tables, multiple columns, and multiple systems even. So you don't have to repeat the same information. You have just one place, and you can define, okay, country in our organization is this is the reference list for country, status, customer status, whatever that might be. That's you can define it once. You can understand the popularity of particular values. It helps you understand the actual what is actually being used at the moment. You can do custom aggregations and hierarchies. So over here I created another field for the country lookup, and I created this is a continent, but it can be very custom. So for instance, if you'd like a US be as like a separate entity because this is your market, then you can say US and I don't know, Europe, and then maybe rest of the world. Or it's up to you. You can do it per report even, because you don't have to use something from I don't know, Wikipedia or something, and you can build your own aggregation. Reference data documentation provides a better understanding of data for everyone. So developers do less bugs. Data and BI analysts, they are much faster with their analytics, and the results are more reliable. The case with deleted or disabled documents is a good one, because if you don't exclude those information, then the whole values from on the report are incorrect. Business users, it's easier for them to better understand the data they're looking at. So for instance, if you have those markets like continents, they can check, for instance, what values are actually aggregated into this particular label. Better data quality, so you can understand the data quality much better. You can build data quality rules. So in this case, you can decide which values are allowed or which are not. And you can also build data cleansing rules, just as I've shown you. Okay, so that's my presentation. Now Chase will show what you need.
Perfect. So we'll carry on into what you need for the reference data within Dataedo. So all new customers, you're able to reach out to Jonathan at dataedo.com. He'll set a call just to understand what you need, whether it's at least a baseline fit, and then we can continue on with the process, just to make sure that you're able to understand the full cycle and full picture there. For current customers, if you have Dataedo's primary plan, which is our most current, or Dataedo data catalog, you are able to just upgrade to 10.4 and you're good to go. There's nothing else needed. If you're using a legacy plan like Enterprise or Pro, you can also contact Jonathan at dataedo.com, and he will make sure that you're able to discuss that upgrade. Now, for current customers and legacy users, we're able to give you quite a discount to make sure that you're able to take advantage of new features that we're putting out. So if that is something that's interesting of you or of interest to you, please feel free to reach out to Jonathan. Upcoming webinars, we will have a couple coming up. So data lineage webinar and Power BI. We'll be planning some others over the next couple of months, so keep an eye out for those. We'll be emailing updates here shortly. And lastly, the Q&A. So I do see one question. So Piotr, Samantha asks, is it possible to automatically import values from a table during our regular Dataedo schema refresh?
That's a good question. Currently, we don't have that. They're not, it's not supported, similar to data profiling. In the future, we'd like to add this capability. The reference data is very slowly changing. It's not as painful to, once a month, maybe to open desktop and import. But yes, in the future, we're planning that feature.
Perfect. Paul asked, are lookup values linkable to business glossary terms?
Currently not. I also noticed that when I was, making, validating the concept after we released the first version. Yeah, it's currently not possible, but I also noticed this being something valuable. In the future, we'd like that.
Good. And Zayad asks, can we add custom columns in lookups?
Yeah, so you can see here one. So these are global, meaning for all the lookups, right? They work just like custom fields for any other object like tables and columns. So what you do, you click the button of custom fields, you create a field. For instance, it can be text. I used for the continent, I used dropdown open, and I gave it a very generic name, so like lookup field 2 in this case, right? I think that would be this class is not that important. It's safe. Oh yeah, and one more thing, you have to set visibility just to look up values. I mean, you could use it elsewhere, it's your choice, but if you like it just for lookup values, then yeah, you do it like that. And but they are visible for all the lookups. In the future, what I was thinking we could also add is option to map values. Map values to from other lookups. So for instance, you have a continent, then maybe have this or this value. That could be another lookup, and also have custom fields per lookup. So like up to, I don't know, 5, 10 custom fields that are just in the context of this lookup. That's in the backlog. So we have so many features we're working on. Hard to say when, but for now, this is like a good solution.
Awesome. Thanks, Piotr. I don't see any other questions, Piotr. We must have done a good job of walking everyone through it. So we'll go ahead and hop over to the last slide. We appreciate you all joining in here and just running through reference data with us. I know that you may have further questions or interest in the tool, so feel free to reach out to us. As always, we have a couple contact information here as far as reaching out to Dataedo, our general email. Many of you have direct contacts, but you can also reach out to support at dataedo.com if you do need anything. And then as always, we do have live chat on our website. So we're happy to help you all with whatever we can and however we can be of service. Everyone, thank you for joining in and learning here with us. And Piotr, thanks for walking us through that.
My pleasure. Good to see you.
See you all soon. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.